Get the jab or risk losing your job. That's the ultimatum facing hundreds of thousands of essential workers tonight. Daniel Andrews has given them 2 weeks to get their first shot, scrambling to curb the spread of Melbourne's Delta outbreak. State political reporter Mark Santomartino.
Coercion is not consent. That won't matter for authorised workers if they want to keep their job. Teachers and nurses were among this protest at Geelong today.
We came to Australia to get away from segregation, to get away from people being discriminated against.
A message snuffed out at Moonee Ponds, Knox and Mordialloc by police.
They're not about stopping people going to work. They're about making sure that we can open up.
It is up to us, and it's up to each individual to take some form or fashion, some type of action in this endeavor of evolution and freedom. Because like I say in my work, freedom is the meaning of life. If you don't have freedom, then you cannot evolve spiritually, in consciousness, for the soul, for our dharma, our soul path, our purpose, right? Everyone's purpose can be individual. The macro lesson that we are here to learn as individuals, you cannot accomplish that if you're not in a state of freedom, if you're under constant duress, coercion, violence, and slavery.
I'm not taking lectures on freedom from people who will hold all of us back. no one's exempt from the Public Health and Wellbeing Act.
The natural world knows what is really ultimately best for us. And what Satanism ultimately wants to do is invert everything. It wants to invert the natural world. It ultimately wants to extinguish the natural world. It hates nature's process. It hates the laws of the Creator. And what it's teaching people is a worldview of pure selfishness that tells them that the purpose of human existence is simply to be comfortable, to make money, to advance yourself over other people, instead of, again, as Kat was saying, to self-actualize mentally, spiritually, physically, etc., and take part in nature's process, be a part of it, and let it guide you along to higher levels of awareness, higher levels of health, higher levels of the entire evolutionary process. And Satanism is inculcating into their mind this sick, demented, psychopathic religious worldview that, no, nature doesn't know anything. It doesn't know what's best for us. We know better than nature, and we're going to conquer it, and we're going to subdue it, and we're going to exercise our will over it. And we're going to tell you what worldview you should take on. And it's that same selfish, egotistical, often psychopathic worldview that the masters of the world have. And that's what they do. They give people a lower level, smaller version of their own mindset without the people receiving that inculcation into this religious mindset and worldview even understanding what it is or knowing that they're being inculcated into it. If I were to make an assessment, I would say Satanism is actually the biggest religion on this planet by numbers regarding how many de facto Satanists there are. It isn't Christianity, it isn't Islam, it isn't Judaism, it isn't Hinduism, it isn't Buddhism. It's Satanism by numbers. They have inculcated most people into the worldview of Satanism. And in order to come out of this condition, we have to change our worldview. People always talk about what are the solutions. Well, the first solution is changing your worldview about nature and humanity. And what are we here to do? Are we here to compete with and conquer nature? Or are we here to be part of the natural process, understand the natural laws of the universe, cooperate with them, align our behavior with them, and then learn, grow, evolve, and again, actualize into the unique creations that we are meant to be? And I would say the latter is the truth, and what they're inculcating people into will never lead to any true health, any true prosperity, any true freedom. Most certainly, it's going to devastate and destroy all of those things unless we heal our worldview first. And if we can do that, then there's no limit on the potential of humanity as a species. If we don't do it, again, we're heading into deeper slavery as a species and ultimately a human culling.
Indeed, critical and lawful. It'll be by law. They will need to be vaccinated with at least one dose. Now,
the articles of common law in the Constitution, in the 1215 Magna Carta, which is not all of it, by the way, it's just parts of it, are constitutional principles that were written down that agree with natural justice. They agree with the things that you've just talked about. Basically agreeing with having a community based on individual rights and individualism. And that's the power of the English Constitution, is that most constitutions don't do that. The difference of a common law-based constitution or a democratic constitution, if you understand the true meaning of the word democracy, is that it is in alignment with natural justice, and it is in alignment with elevating the individual within society, not the collective.
Yeah.
And that's why the English Constitution is the magic that it is, and people need to grasp it and realize actually it's about something much deeper than the Constitution. You know, the Constitution's great, you know, but all the things that we've talked about today, natural law, consciousness, shadow work, those are the really important things. But the lovely thing about the Constitution is that it gets you there. It's like a template for taking all of those fundamentals and saying, right, well, here's a way that you can organize yourselves and govern yourselves in a way that gets you there, gets you where you want to be. And really, in a way, it's actually the only solution that I think has ever existed in a man-made form that leads you towards those ideologies and philosophies that we've talked about today.
Yeah.
What we've actually got under the Constitution originally is justice, which deals entirely with matters of equity and free will, through conscience. We're judging morality. We're bringing out about proper organic justice according to our organic consciences, right? That's really what the Constitution requires, But if you think about what's happened now, and quite recently, we're only talking within the last 300 years or so, is that they've conflated the bringing in of a prime minister into office, which, by the way, is an aspect of democracy where we do vote in elections, but it's just a minor characteristic of democracy. We use voting to bring people into office, to bring a public servant into office. That would be using adult suffrage. But then those public servants are then required under the Constitution to uphold and support matters of proper justice by supporting the system of trial by jury, the constitutional principles. Our governance of this country has gone from courts of conscience dealing with proper justice and morality, and it's travelled to putting in place a series of policies that you are now expected to follow. And if you don't comply with those, then and you don't follow those orders, that's essentially what it is, then you will be punished. That's not proper justice. So that's what we've ended up at.